Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our second lesson for persuasive writing for this week. Our learning intention this week is I'm learning to identify and explore the structure of persuasive text. And our success criteria is I can understand the purpose of a persuasive text, use the correct persuasive writing structure, use the 5-tick checklist to check and edit my sentences. Do you remember yesterday we were talking about the correct procedure for a persuasive text? First of all, we have to have the title. We've got to tell the reader what we're going to be talking about. Next comes our topic sentence. This is where we're stating our opinion and we're just briefly going to mention the reasons we're going to talk about. Then we've got reason 1. You're going to state your reason and give an example. Then we've got our reason 2, same thing, state your reason and give an example to back up your reason. Reason 3, once again, and stating an example. And lastly, we're going to sum up by restating our opinion again. So here's the persuasive text that you wrote yesterday. Well, here's my copy. If you weren't sure about how it went, here's the answers. Our title was Dogs Make the Best Pets. The topic sentence, when it comes to pets, dogs are most certainly the best choice. They are loyal, affectionate, and active companions. Can you see the highlighted? There's the 3 reasons that we're going to be talking about. Reason 1. Firstly, dogs are incredibly loyal companions. They are part of the family and will always be there for you. Secondly, dogs are extremely affectionate. No other animal can show you love quite like a dog can. Thirdly, dogs are very active. You can always keep fit taking your dog for walks and playing games. For these reasons, it's clear that dogs make the best pets. Other animals might have some good qualities, but dogs are the best. So did we convince you? Do you really believe that dogs are the best family pets? For this next part of the lesson, we're going to stop because I want you to listen to a story. And the story I want you to listen to today is I Will Not Ever Never Eat a Tomato by Lauren Charles. It's a really fun story, but it's also a really good example of a persuasive text. So once again, you can see that I've given you the YouTube address that if you want to type that in, or if you go into our week 5 folder, you'll see I've got the YouTube link. All you need to do is click on that and it should take you directly to the video. So you can sit and listen to it by yourself or with a family member, and at the end I want you to sit, come back, and we're going to discuss some questions. Did you enjoy the story? Now, if you're with your family member, maybe you can discuss these questions with them. If not, just think about them to yourself. So how did Charlie persuade Lola to eat her dinner? When Lauren Charles wrote the book, who was she writing it for? Who was the audience? Did she write it for adults or did she write it for children? How do you know? And really, do you think Charlie's ideas would persuade an adult to eat their dinner? Lola was certainly a fussy eater. Did you make a connection with the story, text herself? Would you refuse to eat all or some of the vegetables and fruits that Lola did? Let's face it, she wouldn't eat peas, carrots, potatoes, spaghetti, mushrooms, eggs, sausages, cauliflower, cabbage, baked beans, bananas, oranges, apples, rice, cheese, fish fingers, and absolutely never ever would she ever eat a tomato. Okay, now I want you to stop again. I want you to go back and listen to the story, but this time I want you to listen to it carefully. Take a piece of paper, and as you're going along, I want you to stop the video, and I want you to write down all the foods that Charlie made for Lola. He did give her carrots, but he certainly didn't call them carrots. He gave her peas, but they weren't peas. So go back now and make make a list of all Charlie's foods. Charlie was really clever and creative, and he knew his sister Lola really well. I love the way that he was able to come up with new names and places for all the foods that he wanted to give Lola to eat. Here's an example. Remember when he was trying to get her to eat the fish fingers? He didn't call them fish fingers. He called them, and he said, these are ocean nibblers. And he said they were from the supermarket under the sea. And then he followed up with another reason. He said that mermaids eat them all the time. When he was talking about the peas, he said they were the green droplets from Greenland. And he didn't just leave it there. He said they dropped from the sky and that they were incredibly rare. It's no wonder that Lola wanted to try them. So here's my shopping list. Did you get all of these? The carrots, they were the orange twiglets from the Jupiter. The peas were the green drops from Greenland. The mashed potato was cloud fluff. The fish fingers were the ocean nibbles. And lastly, the tomatoes, surprisingly enough, that came from Lola herself. She decided to make them moon squirters. For today's writing task, we are going to write a persuasive text using the correct structure that we've been learning about this week. Today's persuasive text is going to be about Lola's dinner. You can see over here I've created a worksheet. Now, you can choose to use this worksheet and complete it with me, or you can write it on a piece of paper, or you can go into the completed work document. If you've written on a piece of paper or on this worksheet, after you finish, take a photo of it and upload it into your completed work document. So let's look at the persuasive text. Now, we've got all the features. We've got the title, the topic sentence, we've got our reasons here. Now, up until now, I've just talked about 3 reasons, but because Charlie wanted Lola to eat 4 things, I've got 4 reasons. And once again, we always finish with a conclusion, is our concluding statement where we restate our opinion again. So, I tried to write this as if Charlie was talking to Lola. And I really wanted to come up with like a sizzling start. What was going to grab her attention? So this is what I thought. When it comes to eating dinner, food from the most unusual places certainly tastes the best. I've gotten food from outer space, up in the sky, and even the undersea supermarket. Can you see? Now I've used 3 different things here, and I'm sort of setting up my reasons for later on in the text. So my first reason. Firstly, try eating these orange twiglets from Jupiter. Then remember Charlie followed it up by saying, we know that they are not carrots because carrots do not grow on Jupiter. The second food you should try is eating these green drops. Okay, so this is where you come in. You're going to finish. What was the second thing that Charlie said, or the other things Charlie said about the green drops to try and convince Lola? Do the same thing for the cloud fluff and the orange nibbles. Right, the reasons are there in the story, so you can either go back to the notes that you've made or go look at the video again. And then finally, you've got to write a conclusion. This is where we state our opinion again. Now you might, and I've given you the beginning, therefore, you might want to restate the opinion I put at the top, or you might come up with a better concluding statement. Now we've finished our writing, it's time to just read over it and check that we haven't made any errors. So let's use my 5-tick checklist to help us. First of all, did you start your sentences with a capital letter? Did you finish your sentences with a full stop? Did you leave finger spaces between your words? When you're reading your words, do your letters match the sounds in your words? If you're not sure of a word, go ask a family member to help you. And lastly, let's read your sentences. Do they make sense? Have I missed out any words? Our second writing task is a bit of a fun one. I want you to create another dinner for Lola. Now you're going to have to be creative because we know that she's a really fussy eater. Up the top here, I've given you some examples of different foods that kids might have for dinner. You can use them, or you might choose to feed Lala a dinner that you like eating at home. So over here on this worksheet, I want you to draw a picture of the foods you're going to give her. Then under here, I want you to list the foods. What names are you going to come up with for the foods? We know that peas are green drops, and we know that carrots are orange twiggles. But what could it be? What could a burger be? What could chips be? What could beans be? And what could you come up with spaghetti bolognese? So think up a really creative name for them, and where would you get them from? I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of dinner you can come up with for Lala.